What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Saving Men's Lives Network. Today I want to bring to your attention a gentleman that all of us should be well aware of, but unfortunately very few of us know anything about. A man by the name of Robert Briffault, an English anthropologist of the late 19th century and early 20th century. This man came up with a concept we now know as Briffault's law. And he came up with it by watching the females of a host of different animal species, their mating strategy, and their mate selection. And he wanted to know if there was anything we could learn from those animals in terms of human females and their mating strategy and their mate selection. And what he came up with is what we now call Briffault's law. And Briffault's law states that the female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family, where the female can derive no benefit from association with the male. No such association takes place. Now, in the 21st century, we probably replace the word association with relationship, but you get the picture. Unless there's something she can get out of you, she wants no part of you. I've said it before, I'll say it again until everybody gets it. A man's love for a woman is for real. A woman's love for a man is for sale. And for that reason, we know women decide who gets to have sex, even though it's men who decide who get a title. This is balance in a world where everyone is holding up their end of the bargain. However, after 100 years of feminism, the line between what's expected of a man and what's expected of a woman, especially here in the West, has been blurred beyond recognition. So Mr. Briffault figured it out, and he also came up with 3 amendments, corollaries, if you will, to his famous law. And it goes like this. And see if you guys have a life experience that backs this up. Number 1, even though a woman has accrued past benefits from her relationship with the man, this is no guarantee of her continuing the relationship with him. Basically, translation, what have you done for me lately? Oh, I know you put me out of a burning building last week, but that was last week. What have you done for me lately? Oh, I know you went out in the pouring rain or the snow or 114 degree heat to get me some, whatever the hell it was from the store that she didn't want to go and get herself. But you braved the elements, and you braved probably hurt, harm, and danger if you live in a scary neighborhood where crime is rampant to get her some Haagen-Dazs or whatever else. That was 2 days ago. What have you done for me lately? Women have purposeful amnesia, gentlemen, and it's specifically aimed at the kindness you show to her, because in her entitlement she feels as though you simply owe it to her. There's no appreciation there, which leads to number 2. If the woman promises a man to continue her relationship with him in the future in exchange for a benefit received from him today, her promise becomes null and void as soon as that benefit is rendered. So, what that means is, if you give her whatever it is she wants from you, commitment, a wedding ring, a trip to the Bahamas, whatever it is she's telling you she wants you to do. You work too much. I never see you. So you cut back your hours. You're in my face too much. And won't got enough money to cover these bills. It's never enough, fellas. It's always another goalpost moved 5 yards that way. Just when you thought you had a touchdown. You see, the thing is, fellas, when you give a woman what she says, when you give a woman what her mouth says she wants, It infuriates her. Because women are in constant conflict with everything around them, including themselves. This is why they must be led, and why it was almost forbidden to have a woman in a position of power, because again, they are emotion-based thinkers and decision makers. Give her what she wants, and she's plotting her escape plan from that moment forward. Which leads to number 3. A man's promise of a future benefit has limited ability to secure a continuing relationship with a woman. And his promise carries weight with her only to the extent, now check this part out, only to the extent that the woman's wait for the benefit is short, and to the extent that she trusts him to keep his promise. So what does this mean? Well, basically, it means that whenever you give a woman anything, she puts a clock on you. She'll never tell you this, but the clock is ticking. You have an arbitrary countdown in her head of when that thing should happen. And should it not happen, if you don't propose by a certain time, if you don't take her on this vacation she's always wanted to go by a certain time, if you don't become CEO of the company you work at, or at least district manager, by a time she thinks you ought to, then no matter how much time it actually takes, no matter how much effort it actually takes, if she makes the decision it's taking too long in her mind, despite any facts on the ground to back up this claim, she will make the decision that's taking too long, and she will begin to plot her escape plan from the relationship, purposely forgetting everything you've done, purposely forgetting everything you've bought, purposely throwing away all of your sacrifices up to that point, treating it as though it were nothing, because it is nothing to her, because you are nothing to her. And so when you understand that this is, matter of fact, on a side note, this is why I love those stories of a woman who abandons a guy who's trying to start a business, who abandons a guy who's climbing the corporate ladder, who abandons a guy because he's not ambitious enough. And then when God gets ready, the only time card that actually matters, not hers, when he decides, okay, now's your time, young man. Now you're going to win that $1.9 billion Powerball. Making the example, fellas. I know God hates gambling. I got that. But I'm saying there are stories where guys become the guy they were always meant to be. In a time frame the woman who claimed to love him didn't foresee. And she's crying the blues. OMG, I dropped the bag. As though a man is an inanimate object used to carry things. No, sweetheart, you didn't drop the bag. What you did was you alienated what was supposed to be your blessing. And I personally love to see it. Briffault's law is yet another extension of the chaos that exists within them, that destroys almost everything that it touches. Now, is every woman going to be a textbook example? An absolute frustration that comes with Briffault's law? Yeah, I guess the math on that doesn't work. So I'm not going to say every single one of, but it's so prevalent, especially here in the West, that you can see it everywhere. My advice to you fellas is to make yourself intimately aware and intimately acquainted with Briffault's law, so that you see it for what it is, and you see it for when it happens, so that it doesn't catch you unaware and off guard. Understand, she's incapable of loving you, the man. What women love instead is male attention, access to male financial resources and the things it can buy, and she loves access to your time and or your semen, which of course gives her access back to your money again. All roads lead to Rome, apparently, gentlemen. So be mindful of that. She can't love you the exact same way penguins can't fly. All she can love is what you do for her. To an extent, what you do to her, if you and she are sexually active. With that said, that's my time. Like the video, comment down below, and subscribe, fellas. Tell your friends to tell their friends. Never let your brother suffer in silence. And the truth can set him free. Network as we working. Until next time.